Everyone in Dry Creek agreed on three things. The summers were brutal. The winters were worse. And Cole Mercer, the quiet rancher on the hill, didn't need or want a wife. So when the stagecoach rolled into town one dusty afternoon, brakes screaming and horses blowing steam in the cold air, no one expected the woman who stepped down to walk straight into his life and change all of it. Her name was Lily Hart. Black morning dress, travel-dusted boots, and a belly that showed she'd be a mother in a matter of weeks. She was a pregnant widow. And before nightfall, folks in Dry Creek would be whispering the same sentence over and over. Everyone warned her, he'll take advantage of you. But she still went up that hill. But what they didn't know yet was this. She wasn't going up that hill to beg. She was going to make him an offer he couldn't refuse. Lily gripped the stagecoach handle a second longer, steadying herself, and scanned the one-street town. A general store, a saloon, a church with flaking white paint, and a cluster of people slowing their steps to stare at her belly, then at her face, then quickly away. She forced her shoulders back. She didn't come here to be pitied. The driver tossed down her single-worn trunk. "Dry Creek, ma'am. Last stop for the desperate," he muttered. "That makes two of us," Lily said, and paid him with the last coin she dared to spend. She had a plan. It wasn't pretty, but nothing in the last year of her life had been. Her husband, Tom, had died in a mining collapse months ago. His last living brother had written her a single letter before disappearing to God knows where. No money. No family. Just a baby on the way, and a land deed Tom had bought sight unseen. A claim just outside this town, one the bank was more than eager to swallow if she couldn't pay the taxes due in 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get money, or a partner, or both. And that's when she heard the name the whole town seemed built around. Cole Mercer. But what she didn't know yet was that Cole Mercer had a reputation for more than just refusing women. He had a history with dangerous men, and one of them was already watching her. Inside the general store, the bell over the door jingled as she stepped in. A thin woman with sharp eyes and an apron, Martha, froze with a stack of flour sacks in her hands. "Well now," Martha said, taking her in from boots to belly. "We don't see many like you." "Like me?" Lily asked. "Still standing," Martha replied. "Name?" "Lily Hart. I'm a widow," Martha finished, gaze softening a fraction. "Word travels on a stagecoach. The driver said you were asking about a land claim outside town." Lily nodded. "I need work, or a way to keep the land from the bank." Martha hesitated, then stepped closer. "If you're thinking of using your ring finger to save that land, you picked the wrong town." Lily frowned. "I'm not—" "There's not a man here worth the iron in your shoe," Martha cut in. "Except one. And he's the last one you should bother." "Cole Mercer," Lily said quietly. Martha's eyes narrowed. "Who told you about him?" "The driver," Lily said. "Said he's got the biggest spread, more hands than he needs, and no wife." Martha snorted. "He's got offers. Every widow, every rancher's daughter. Every woman who's tired of scrubbing floors and wants a warm house goes sniffing up that hill at some point. Cole refuses them all. Flat." "Why?" Lily asked. "No one knows," Martha said. "Some say he lost someone. Others say he just doesn't care about anyone. But we all know one thing." She leaned in, voice dropping. "He'll take advantage of you if you give him the chance. Not your body, maybe, but your need, your land. Your desperation." Lily let that sit between them. "Maybe," Lily said, "but I don't have the luxury of options." Martha stared at her a long moment, then sighed. "You really going up there?" "I am." Martha shook her head, but there was a glint of respect in her eyes. "Then at least eat first. A woman shouldn't march herself to the wolf's door on an empty stomach." What Martha didn't tell her was this. The last woman who went up that hill came back with nothing, and she never spoke Cole Mercer's name again. By sundown, Lily stood at the bottom of the hill, staring up at Cole Mercer's ranch. Wide house, Long porch, lanterns already lit. Fenced pastures stretching into the dark. Smoke curling from the chimney. The only place in miles that looked like it had more than a week between it and starvation. She climbed the hill, each step a reminder of the weight she carried in front of her and the one she carried behind. In memory, in debt, in fear. By the time she reached the porch, the door swung open. Before she even knocked, he stood in the threshold. Tall, broad. Shirt sleeves rolled up over forearms that looked like they'd spent a lifetime hauling, branding, and fighting the land into submission. Dark hair, a day's stubble, and eyes that didn't flinch at the sight of her belly. Cole Mercer. "Evening," he said simply. "Mr. Mercer," Lily replied. "My name is Lily Hart. I came to—" "I know why you came," he interrupted. Her heart jumped. "You do?" He nodded once. "You want something." She swallowed. "Everyone does." He considered that, then stepped aside. "Come in out of the cold. You shouldn't be standing this long." She hesitated at the threshold. Everyone warned her. "He'll take advantage of you." But here's what no one told her. He'd been waiting for someone like her. She stepped in anyway. Inside, the house was simple but solid. Wooden table, iron stove, a few chairs, a rifle over the mantel. No lace, no frills, no sign a woman had ever arranged a single thing here. Cole closed the door behind her. "Sit," he said, motioning to the table. "I'll get you water." She sat, watching him move with unhurried efficiency. "I have land," she blurted, before she lost her nerve. "Just outside town. My husband bought it. Then he died in a mining accident. Taxes are due in 2 weeks. I can't pay them alone." He set a glass of water in front of her, unblinking. "And?" he asked. "And I heard you have more cattle than you can graze, more hands than you need, and no wife," Lily said, forcing the words out. "I'm not asking for pity. I'm asking for a deal." His jaw ticked, but he stayed silent. "You need someone to keep this place," she continued. "Cook, keep books, stitch. I can do all of it. I'm not helpless, Mr. Mercer. I can work. I will work. And in return, I save your land," he said flatly. "Yes," she said. "You pay the taxes now, take half the claim in your name. If it does well, you profit. If it doesn't, you've at least got more grazing land. I get a roof and a chance to raise my child under it." Cole studied her, his gaze unreadable. "You're asking to be my wife," he said. Lily's cheeks burned. "I'm asking for a partnership. Call it what you like. Town warn you about me?" he asked. "They did," she said. "They said you'll take advantage of me." He leaned on the table closer now. "And you came anyway." "I came," she said evenly, "because I'd rather risk being used than watch my child be born in the dirt with nothing." The silence stretched. Then Cole did the last thing she expected. He laughed, short, harsh, not amused, just surprised. "You're the first one that came up here with a ledger in her head instead of a dream," he said. "Most come talking about love or fate or how we'd look side by side in church." "I don't care how we look in church," Lily said. "I care that my child doesn't go hungry." His eyes flicked to her belly, then back to her face. "You don't even know what kind of man I am," he said quietly. "Then tell me," she shot back. He straightened, walked to the window, stared out at the dark yard. "I've turned down every woman in town," he said. "Not because I'm noble, because I don't want the burden of someone else's dreams. I take care of this land, these cattle. That's it. I don't play husband. I don't play father." He turned, pinning her with his gaze. "You really want to tie yourself to that?" She held his stare. "I don't need you to play anything. I need you to sign your name next to mine and not throw me out when the snow gets deep." Another long beat. Then Cole nodded, slow. "All right, Mrs. Hart," he said. "Let's see how serious you are." And that's when he pulled out the papers. Papers she didn't expect. Papers that would change everything. If you were Lily, standing in this stranger's house, knowing everyone warned you he'd take advantage of you, would you still push for that deal, or would you turn around and walk back down that hill? Tell me in the comments, stay and risk it, or leave and start over elsewhere. He brought out papers. Land maps. A worn leather ledger with numbers marching across it in neat, sharp lines. "Here's your claim," he said. "Bank wants this much in 2 weeks." He tapped the figure with one big finger. "I can pay it. Today." Her breath caught. "But I don't buy trouble," he went on. "If I put my name on this, then whatever comes with you, comes with me. Debts, enemies, old promises, you hiding anything?" "No," she said quickly. Then she hesitated. "Yes." His gaze sharpened like a blade. "My husband," she said. "Tom. He wasn't careful with people. He borrowed, owed, spoke big. I got one letter after he died from a man named Elias Crow. Said Tom promised him a share of the land. I never saw a contract, just the letter. Then nothing." "Elias Crow," Cole repeated, eyes going colder. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. "You got that letter with you?" he asked. She pulled a folded, worn paper from her bodice and slid it across the table. He scanned it quickly. "No contract," he said. "Just bluster. But Crow's the kind that thinks paper or not. Words are worth blood." "Do you know him?" Lily asked. "Oh," Cole said softly. "I know him." Something in his tone made the small hairs on Lily's neck rise. "You still want a sign?" he asked. She didn't even pause. "Yes." Cole watched her like he was waiting for her to break. She didn't. Finally, he let out a breath. "Church in town," he said. "Pastor James will marry us tomorrow morning. We'll sign the papers after." "You're agreeing?" she asked, stunned. "I'm agreeing to a contract," he said. "Don't mistake that for kindness." "I'm not," she said. He nodded once. "You can sleep in the spare room tonight. Lock it if it makes you feel better. I won't touch you unless you ask me to." Her heart stumbled at that, at the bluntness of it. "I didn't come for that." He shrugged. "Men always do, sooner or later. Women too, sometimes. But I'm not going to use what you're afraid of to get what I want, Lily Hart. If I take advantage of you, it'll be on paper, in ink, where you can see it." She almost smiled. "Almost. I've signed worse deals," she said. "Then maybe this one won't kill you," he replied. But what neither of them knew was this. Elias Crow was already in town, and he'd heard every word about the pregnant widow asking questions. The next morning, they stood in front of Pastor James in the tiny white church. Townsfolk slipped into the back pews, whispering behind hands. Martha sat near the front, arms crossed, eyes narrowed. Lily wore the same black dress. Cole wore a clean shirt and a coat that made him look even larger, like the walls might give way to his shoulders. "Do you, Cole Mercer, take Lily Hart?" "Yes," Cole said, before the pastor finished. Lily's brows lifted. Pastor blinked, then turned to her. "And do you, Lily Hart, take Cole Mercer?" "I do," she said. The words settled on her like a weight and a strange, fragile relief. When the short ceremony ended, Pastor James leaned in, voice low. "Lily," he murmured, "be careful. He's not a cruel man, but he's been alone too long. A man like that, he knows how to use what he's got." She looked up at Cole, who was already outside, talking to the banker with a flat, businesslike expression. "Everyone keeps telling me he'll take advantage of me," Lily said softly. "Maybe they're right, but no one else offered me a life raft." Pastor sighed. "Sometimes a raft has nails in it." She lifted her chin. "Then I'll learn where they are and stop grabbing them." Outside, a man in a black coat watched from across the street. Elias Crow. And he was smiling. They went to the bank. Papers were signed. Cole's name joined hers on the land deed. Taxes were paid in full. "You sure about this, Mercer?" the banker asked. "Taking on a widow and her trouble." "I'm sure," Cole said. "And if anyone tries to contest this land, they answer to me." Lily watched him, realizing something. He wasn't just saving her claim. He was putting himself squarely in the path of whoever Elias Crow was. "Why?" she asked later, riding beside him in the wagon toward their new land. "Because," Cole said, reins loose in his hands, "I don't like vultures, and Crow's the biggest I've ever seen." "You know him well?" she pressed. "Well enough to know," Cole said, "that when he finds out you married me, he's coming. And he'll bring friends." Lily's throat went dry. "And you still signed?" He flicked her a glance. "I told you, I don't buy trouble, I bury it." The wagon rumbled over the frozen ground. Ahead, her land came into view. A rough cabin, half-finished fence, a few scraggly trees clinging to life. It wasn't much. It was everything. But as they pulled up to the cabin, Cole's hand shot out, stopping her from climbing down. "Wait," he said, voice low. "What?" she whispered. He nodded toward the cabin door. It was open, and they'd locked it that morning. For the next days, life snapped into a harsh, fast rhythm. Cole split his time between his big ranch and her smaller claim, now their joint property. He sent 2 of his hands to shore up the cabin, fix the roof, and finish the fence. Lily cooked, cleaned, and did what she could despite the weight of her belly. She proved quickly she was no fragile ornament. She tallied accounts at the table with swift, sure strokes of her pencil. She argued about feed costs and cattle counts. She woke before dawn and kept going until the light died. Cole watched her with that same unreadable gaze. "You don't rest," he said one night as she wiped down the table. "I don't have the luxury," she replied. "You do now," he said. She shook her head. "Not until I know this place can stand without your charity." "It's not charity," he said. "It's investment." "Exactly," she said. "And I intend for you to profit, Mr. Mercer." Something like amusement flickered in his eyes. "Careful, Mrs. Mercer," he said. "Talking like that, people will think you're the one taking advantage of me." She met his gaze steadily. "Maybe I am." For a second, the air between them changed. Warmer, sharper. Then a horse's distant gallop snapped the moment. Cole's head lifted. He moved to the window, peered out, and his whole body went still. "Rider coming," he said. "Fast." Lily stepped beside him, heart thudding. A lone rider crested the hill, black coat flapping, hat low, dust trailing behind. "Is that—" she started. "Elias Crow," Cole finished, and he wasn't alone. "All right, quick pause. Elias Crow is riding in and Cole has already tied himself to Lily's land and problems. If you were Cole, would you face Crow head on, try to negotiate, or send Lily away to hide? Drop your choice in the comments. I'm curious how many of you are more like Cole and how many would play it safer. The rider pulled up hard in front of the cabin. Dust swirled as he swung down. He was lean, all sharp angles and sharp eyes. 2 men rode behind him and stopped a few yards back, hands near their guns but not on them. Yet. "Afternoon," he called, voice smooth as oil. "Mrs. Hart, I presume." Lily stepped out onto the small porch, Cole at her side. "My name is Lily Mercer," she said clearly. Crow's smile didn't reach his eyes. "That's so. Things change quick out here. Last time I wrote, you were Lily Hart, grieving widow, sitting on a promise your husband made me." "You wrote about a promise," she said. "You didn't send a contract." "In my line of work, a man's word is a contract," Crow replied. "Tom Hart told me, clear as Sunday, that I'd have a share of this land. You wearing his name don't change that." "She's not wearing his name anymore," Cole said, voice low. "And this land isn't just hers, it's mine now too." Crow's gaze slid to Cole, assessing. "Mercer, heard of you." "Not enough if you rode up here thinking you could scare her off her own claim," Cole said. Crow's smile tightened. "I don't scare women, Mercer. I persuade them. Difference is important." He took a step closer, eyes locking on Lily's belly. "You're in a bad spot, Mrs. Mercer," he said softly. "Baby on the way. Debts you don't understand. A town full of people whispering behind your back. You got yourself a marriage of convenience, I see. Man like Mercer, he'll do what he has to now, but once the papers settle and the winters set in, you think he's going to want to keep feeding extra mouths that don't bear his blood?" Lily's jaw clenched. "This child is my blood. That's enough." "Maybe for you," Crow said. "Not for most men. They take advantage when they can, Mrs. Mercer. Utility. That's what you are to him. Work now, burden later." He looked at Cole, smirking. "Tell me I'm wrong." Cole's face gave nothing away. "You're wrong," Crow chuckled. "Then you won't mind if we let the lady choose, He turned back to Lily. You can stick with him, hope he don't change his mind when the snows come and the cattle thin out, or you can honor your late husband's word. Give me my share. I'll pay you enough to walk away clean. New town, new start, no risk, no Mercer. Lily felt the weight of their eyes. Crow's, probing, his men's, bored but alert. Cole's, steady and silent at her side. We already paid the taxes, she said. This land is ours. Taxes can be paid again, Crow said. By a new owner, my partner, or I can just take what I'm owed another way. His gaze slid over the cabin, the fence, the surrounding fields. Lily understood. If she refused, he wouldn't go to court. He'd send men in the night, burn, break, turn her life into ash until she crawled back and begged. She looked at Cole. Can you handle him? She asked quietly. Crow laughed. He can't handle me without a fight that'll cost you everything. But Cole didn't look at Crow. He looked only at her. If you want his money, take it, he said, voice even. Walk away. I won't stop you. I won't chase you. That's your choice. Her chest tightened. And if I don't? Then we make this land worth bleeding for, Cole said. Crow snorted. Big words, Mercer. Lily took a deep breath. A year ago, fear would have ruled her. Not now. This land, she said slowly, was paid for by my husband's life, by my child's future, by every mile I walked to get here. If Tom made foolish promises with his tongue, that's on him. But no one wrote your name on this deed. You have nothing here but threats, Mr. Crow. His eyes hardened. Careful, Mrs. Mercer. You're carrying more than you can protect. She's not carrying it alone, Cole said. Because you're such a noble soul? Crow sneered. No, Cole said, because she paid me in something more valuable than fear. She told me the truth. Right from the start. Didn't hide you. Didn't hide the debt. That's worth more to me than whatever you think you're owed. Lily realized then. Cole hadn't taken advantage of her need. He'd tested it, weighed it, and somewhere along the way, it had passed. Crow's smile vanished. Last chance, he said to Lily. Take my money, leave, or I come back tonight, and you'll wish you had. Lily stepped closer to Cole, close enough that their shoulders brushed. I'm not leaving, she said. And if you come back tonight, bring more men. You'll need them. Something dangerous flickered in Cole's gaze at her words. Something like approval. Like she just crossed a line and stepped fully onto his side. Crow looked between them, jaw tight. Then this is war, he said quietly. No, Cole said. This is you trespassing. War starts when you fire first. Crow tipped his hat with a mock flourish. We'll see how brave you sound when the sun goes down. He swung back into the saddle and rode off, his men behind him, dust biting the air. When they were specks on the horizon, Lily turned to Cole. Did I just doom us? She asked. He shook his head. No, you just told me who I'm fighting for. And then he did something that surprised her. He smiled. Not a big smile, not warm, but real. Night fell hard. Cole didn't sleep. He saddled up more than once, rode to his main ranch, sent men to watch the edges of Lily's land. He checked rifles, counted bullets, and banked the fire low. Lily lay awake in the small cabin, hand on her belly, listening to every creak and whisper of the wind. You regret it? Came Cole's voice from the doorway. He leaned there, shadowed. Choosing you over Crow? She asked. No. Choosing this at all, he said. Me, the deal, the land. She stared at the ceiling rafters. If I'd said yes to Crow, I'd have traded one kind of fear for another. He'd always want more money, more land, more obedience. Men like him don't stop because you give them what they ask for. They stop when you have nothing left. And men like me? Cole asked. She turned her head to look at him. Everyone says you'll take advantage of me. But you showed me the contract, the numbers, the cost. You didn't lie. That's more honesty than I've ever had from a man tied to this land. His jaw worked. You think that makes me a good man? I don't know, she said. I think it makes you dangerous in a different way. He huffed a quiet laugh. And you came to me anyway. I did, she said. You could still hurt me, use me, leave me. But if I'm going to risk that, I'd rather do it with someone who doesn't pretend he's anything other than what he is." Their gazes held. Outside, a horse whinnied, sharp and uneasy. Cole stiffened. "They're here." And then the first shot shattered the window. The first shot shattered the front window. Glass rained over the floor. Lily flinched, rolling off the bed more from instinct than grace. Cole was already moving, shoving a rifle into her hands. "Under the table, low and back," he snapped. "You shoot only if someone comes through that door." "What about you?" she demanded. He chambered around. "I'm going to remind Crow why people don't take from me twice." He slipped out the back, a shadow against shadows. Lily crawled under the heavy wooden table, hands shaking but steady enough to hold the gun. Her heart thundered so loud she was sure whoever was outside could hear it. Hooves, voices. Another gunshot, splintering the doorframe. "Mercer," Crow's voice, sharp in the night. "You going to hide behind your new wife?" Lily clenched her teeth. From the side of the cabin, a rifle cracked. One of Crow's men screamed, then went silent. "That's one." Cole's voice drifted back, cold and controlled. Crow swore. More shots. Wood chipped. A lantern shattered. The smell of oil thick in the air. Smoke. Fire. The edge of the curtain caught. Flames licking up fast. Lily's throat tightened. Fire, now. As if bullets weren't enough. She made a choice. She slid from under the table, belly dragging, and crawled to the burning curtain. Using a blanket, she smothered the flame before it climbed the wall. Smoke stung her eyes. Another shot punched a new hole in the wall inches from her face. "Lily!" Cole's shout, closer now. "Get down! I am down!" she yelled back hoarsely. The door burst inward. Not Cole. One of Crow's men. He saw her, eyes widening, gun swinging. Lily didn't think. She fired first. The rifle kicked like a mule. The man jerked back, slammed into the doorframe, and fell. Her ears rang. Her arms shook. But the man didn't move again. "Lily!" Cole called again. "In here," she managed. Voice raw. He barreled through the doorway a second later, eyes sweeping the room. He took in the dead man, the shattered glass, the smoldering curtain. "You hurt?" he demanded. She shook her head, though her whole body trembled. "I'm fine. A sound behind him, a scraping, a curse. Crow. He'd circled, used the chaos, come in through the back. "Drop it, Mercer," Crow growled, pistol aimed at Cole's spine. Cole froze, hands slowly lowering his rifle. Lily's heart slammed against her ribs. Her gun was empty. Her legs felt like water. Crow stepped in, breath ragged. Hat gone, hair wild, eyes bright with fury. "You think you can make a fool of me?" he spat. "Her husband owed me. She owed me. Now I'm taking what's mine." His gun swung toward Lily's belly. "Before I tell you what happens next, imagine you're in Lily's place. Pregnant, cornered, empty gun, and a man like Crow pointing a pistol at you. Do you trust Cole to make a move, try to talk Crow down, or risk everything and lunge for the gun yourself? Comment your instinct. Trust, talk, or lunge." Lily didn't have time to think, only to move. "Crow," she said sharply, stepping sideways, drawing his gaze. "You're right." His gun wavered a fraction. "About what?" "About men taking advantage," she said, voice steady despite the quiver in her limbs. "My husband did. The banker did. The men on that stagecoach did. You would. Even Cole could. You're all the same in one way." "And what way is that?" he snarled. "You underestimate women," she said. His brow furrowed. "Just enough." Cole moved. He spun, slamming his arm into Crow's gun hand. The shot went wild, tearing into the ceiling. The two men crashed into the table, sending it skidding. Lily stumbled back, grabbing for the fallen pistol. Crow and Cole grappled, fists and fury. Crow snarling, Cole silent and cold. Crow got a hand free, reaching for a knife at his belt. Lily saw the flash of steel. She didn't lunge for the gun. She swung the heavy rifle like a club, smashing it into Crow's wrist. he screamed, dropping the knife. Cole drove his fist into Crow's jaw, once, twice, enough to drop him like a stone. Silence crashed down, broken only by Lily's ragged breathing and the crackle of dying embers in the hearth. Cole stood over Crow's unconscious body, chest heaving. Blood darkened his sleeve. "You're bleeding," Lily said numbly. He glanced down. "It's not mine that worries me." He turned to her, eyes raking over her form, searching for wounds. "I'm fine," she said. "The baby's fine, I think." He stepped closer, hand lifting, then hovering, as if he didn't know where to touch. "Will you let me?" he asked quietly. It hit her then, absurdly. This man everyone said would take advantage of her was asking permission. She nodded. He rested his hand gently on her belly. They stood like that a moment, in the wreckage of her small cabin, dead man on the floor, unconscious enemy at their feet. "What now?" she whispered. "Now," Cole said, voice low and certain. "We make sure he never comes back to claim you again." By morning, Elias Crow and his surviving man were tied to their horses, sent down the hill toward the nearest marshal with a letter in Cole's hand detailing every threat, every shot fired, every witness that could speak to Crow's habits in 3 towns over. "Marshal won't ignore this," Cole said. "Not with these bodies and these bullet holes." Lily watched them go, exhaustion weighing her bones. Her back ached, her feet throbbed. Her heart felt too big for her chest. "You could have walked away," she said quietly. "Let him take what he wanted. Kept your quiet ranch and your quiet life." Cole looked at her. Really looked. "I did walk away," he said softly. "Once." She frowned. "From what?" "From a woman I could have saved," he said. "A long time ago. I told myself it wasn't my problem. She had her own choices, her own debts. I watched Crow take everything from her, and I stood on my porch and did nothing." His jaw tightened. "Not again," he said. Lily understood now. The refusals, the distance, the hardness. "Is that why you never married?" she asked. "I didn't want the responsibility," he said, "or the chance to fail someone like that again." "And now?" she asked. He hesitated. "Now," he said slowly, "I've already put my name next to yours. On the deed. In the church book. In the bank records. Men like Crow will always come. Wolves always circle. I can't keep you perfectly safe, Lily. I won't promise that. But if they want to take advantage of you now, they're going to have to come through me first." Something in her chest broke, then reformed stronger. "You sound like a husband," she said. "I sound like a man honoring a contract," he deflected. She smiled, tired but real. "You can call it whatever you like, Cole Mercer. I know what it feels like." A sharp pain cut through her abdomen. Then another, lower, tighter. She gasped, grabbing the doorframe. Cole's eyes widened. "Lily?" Her hand flew to her belly. "I think the baby's decided it doesn't want to wait." "In the middle of all this?" he muttered, already moving, grabbing blankets, heating water. "You pick your moments, kid." Hours later, with Martha from town and Pastor James at her side, Lily brought a squalling, furious little life into the world in that battered cabin. A baby boy. Lungs like a trumpet. Pastor James washed his hands, smiling wearily. "Name?" Lily looked at Cole, who stood back, hands fisted at his sides, as if he wasn't sure he was allowed to step closer. "You want to hold him?" she asked. His eyes flashed with something like panic. I'm not." "You faced down a gang for us," she said. "You can hold a baby." Slowly, like a man walking into a storm, Cole came forward. Martha placed the wrapped bundle in his arms. The baby blinked up at him, then let out a fierce wail. Cole actually flinched, then adjusted his hold, big hands surprisingly gentle. "Hey," he murmured. "You're all right. Your ma did the hard part." Lily watched him, warmth unfurling in her chest that had nothing to do with contracts or land. "Name?" Pastor prompted again. Lily met Cole's eyes. "You choose," she said. He swallowed, looking down at the baby as if the answer were written there. "Thomas," he said finally. After the man whose mistake brought him here. Maybe we can teach him to do better with what he's given. Lily's eyes stung. Thomas, it is. Cole handed the baby back, lingering a second longer than necessary. Everyone warned me you'd take advantage of me, she said softly. He huffed. Maybe I have. I've got your land, your work, your name tied to mine in every ledger from here to the county seat. She smiled, weary but sure. Then I've taken advantage of you right back. I've got your protection, your cattle, your house, and you standing between me and the worst of this world. He glanced at the baby. And him? He asked. He gets us both, she said, whether you meant to give him that or not. Cole held her gaze for a long moment. Then, slow and almost awkward, he leaned down and pressed his forehead to hers. No one, he said quietly, is taking advantage of you again, Lily Mercer. From now on, they answer to me. Outside, the winter wind howled. Inside, in that small cabin on the frontier, a new family took shape. Not out of romance or dreams, but out of choice, danger, and stubborn, fierce survival. And in Dry Creek, when people talked about Lily, the pregnant widow who married the cold rancher on the hill, they still said, everyone warned her, he'll take advantage of you. But the ones who knew the truth added one more line. She walked up that hill anyway, and somehow she made him her own.